Hello and welcome back to Ask Anoushka. I hope that you're all doing really well. So if you have a question, please do check the link below in the description box and follow that link, and you might have the opportunity to get your question featured here on the channel. Also, not sure if you know, I do have the journaling club. I post journal prompts in the community tab for you to access. This is great for someone who really is processing emotions, processing something that they're going through. These are very specific to someone who is experiencing trauma bonding, narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse, and just needs to make sense of what is happening for them. Do check out my journaling club. Okay, so today's question comes from Mary Scott, and she says, Anoushka, I think what I am experiencing right now is a trauma bond. I've watched a lot of your videos and I understand what you are saying in these videos and that it is a trauma bond. How do I know for sure that it is a trauma bond, and how do I get past this? Well, Mary, thank you so much for your question. You are actually a YouTube subscriber of mine. So what I would say, Mary, is I'm glad that you have realized that what you're going through is a trauma bond. I'm not glad that you're going through the trauma bond, but for those of you who are experiencing this, this is something that a lot of us go through. This is something that a lot of us experience, especially if we've gone through a narcissistic relationship or a toxic person, or we're in a relationship with a toxic person. The thing is, these trauma bonds are really deep and they really get to kind of the core of us, and it basically, it's kind of like it erases our identity. Because what happens is, the reason why trauma bonds happen is because this toxic person or the narcissist, what they try to do is they try and get us to kind of see their reality, their world through their eyes. And so what they're constantly doing is they're constantly gaslighting, manipulating, controlling every situation, everything that we're saying. And this causes us to think, oh my God, like, is this not how reality is? It causes us to second guess ourselves. So this makes us really anxious. And then what we tend to do is we tend to believe everything that the narcissist says. All right, and so we trust them because it leaves us emotionally vulnerable. We begin to trust them because why would someone who we love, whether that's a parent, whether that's a friend, whether that's a whether that's a partner, you know, why would they say something to us to hurt us? And you see, the issue here is when we get to know someone, we get to know them in a certain capacity, and then they change and they are not that person. And we're always trying to kind of get back. We want them to be that person that they were at the beginning of this relationship or this friendship or the way that we got to know them. And we're always waiting for them to kind of go back to that. But it never happens, or it happens in little increments, you know, and they leave these little breadcrumbs for us. We never imagine that this person that we really, you know, value, that we really love, and we really love spending, you know, time with, and we trust. Okay, that's the issue here. We trust them and they are not that person. They never can get back to being that person. And this leaves us very confused because how can someone that we love do that to us? You see, it's very difficult because as human beings, we are social creatures, okay? We're not meant to be on our own. And the way that we, you know, attach or bond to another person, this is a very natural thing. So I don't want any of you to start thinking, oh, just because I'm experiencing this trauma bond, this is not normal what happens. No, actually it's the opposite. It's a very normal, very healthy thing to do, to be able to bond with someone, to get to know someone, to trust them. You know, this even happens, like, think about people that you follow on social media. You know, you guys watching this channel, watching me kind of talking, you know, you have got to know me, or you've got to know that person on social media, and you trust them, you like what they do, you like their content, and it's kind of like, this is who they are. You don't kind of expect them to change. And what I'm trying to say is you've got to know them in this capacity. And it kind of skews our way of thinking also, because when this person isn't how we've got to know them, it leaves us very confused, and it leaves us very in a very kind of, it leaves us on shaky grounds. Actually, it leaves us on shaky grounds that we feel like, have we got this wrong? Is there something wrong with us? And then again, this is distrust. We disconnect from ourselves because we distrust ourselves, when all the while what is happening here is the narcissist has kind of shaken our foundations, because what they are wanting you to do is to believe them, is to kind of think, okay, well, maybe they are right. And this is what happens when we attach to that person. We attach with all of our knowledge, with all of our emotions, with all of our kind of trust in this person. And this is why it's very hard for us to kind of get away from that, okay? To get away and to not think about this person, because we're constantly searching for this answer. Were we wrong? Were they right? Did we get this wrong about them? Were we right about them? And it's constantly, you know, this is what's going around in our mind. What I am going to say here is, you are right, all right? You are right. And you didn't know that this person was like this. Okay, you went into this relationship, friendship, partnership, you know, expecting the same back, okay, because you love them or you loved them, and you expected them to treat you in that same way, but they didn't. And this only happens, trauma bonds only happen in toxic or narcissistic relationships. So I want you to know that this was unavoidable. It was always going to happen. This person wanted you for a reason, and they wanted you to love them, accept them for who they are, but they had to lie to you, manipulate and control you, because if they were themselves, you would have left. So the way to get past a trauma bond is this, you know, your adrenal system is fatigued. You have anxiety. What is happening here is the connection has to come back to yourself. You have to connect back to yourself. So your nervous system needs to be calmed, all right? Because it's constantly stimulated in fight or flight. The anxiety is unreal. Go out into nature, go for a walk. The one way to get past trauma is to do exercise, okay? Because you've got a lot of cortisol, you've got a lot of adrenaline, you've got a lot of serotonin. Yes, I know it's a good hormone, but it's not good in that toxic cocktail, okay? This is where this excitement is feeling all the time, or this anxiety is. So this needs to be flushed out of your system. So going for walks, going out into nature, doing exercise really helps the body to flush it, because you're raising your heartbeat and your blood is filled with this toxic cocktail of hormones, right? So we need to work it through the body, drink lots of water, and make sure that the pH balance of the water is above 7, all right? The other thing that I would suggest is this cognitive dissonance, this brain fog that kind of exists in this situation. So the way to get past that is you need to let it out, meaning it needs to be processed and come out. Don't let it stick in your mind and constantly go round and round, because that's called rumination. And this again basically enhances and keeps that anxiety within your system. So what you need to do is you need to journal. You need to write it out, write it down. Maybe if you don't like journaling, maybe record yourself on your phone so that it has an outlet to come out. Remember, this is what I said about the journal club, okay? If you're going through this trauma bond, see if my journal prompts help, okay? You can join for a month and then you can leave if it doesn't work. But just journaling, I know, has been a real kind of help to a lot of people, because it really helps you to process these emotions. Maybe another way could be if you talk to a friend or talk to your therapist or your coach, someone who you can talk these ideas or these thoughts that are going around in your mind, all right? It's no good to keep them, you know, inside and in here, okay? Because it doesn't work. The other thing that I would say to you as well is to settle the adrenal systems, all right? So what you need to do is you need to either meditate, and if you can't do that, start off with yoga. This really prepares the body for meditation. Another thing to do is music. Music is so therapeutic and really helps to calm the adrenal system, all right, and the nervous system as well. Put some ambient music on, maybe like rain music or thunder, running water, the ocean waves. That kind of stuff really helps to settle the body, to settle the adrenal system, because ultimately this is what is being stimulated all the time. And if you set a routine in place, okay, you've got to make time. I know that each and every one of you is busy, but you've got to make time for this. This is your healing. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in this state. You're going to be arrested in this state of being, okay? And you've got to help yourself. This is the medicine on how to get past trauma, all right? This isn't about taking antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication, because that alone is not going to help you, because you're just plastering over something that basically needs to be worked with. This is emotional. Emotions aren't linear. All right, they're always up and down. So this is about you working through that. I know where you are right now is uncomfortable, but this is about working through and really understanding what has happened here, forgiving yourself and giving yourself the best possible chance of moving forward from this. All right, so I really hope that this answers your question and gives you some more insight to how trauma bonding works, why you feel the way that you do, and also kind of like tips and suggestions on moving forward from it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you would like to basically get some more healing, then please join my Patreon membership, where basically this is all about trying to move forward from these toxic situations and relationships and understanding you yourself with science-backed and psychology-backed kind of information. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.